Alright, hello guys. We just had a tournament last Friday and I got first place using this deck. And shout out to Brian from Nova TCG for sponsoring us some Gotobun promos. And here's the deck profile. So I was playing 8 standby Gotobun, exactly 12, but yeah. And this is level 0 lineup. So we play 4 of this Nino. She has 2 skills. The first one is when I play her on the field, I can discard a Nino card to draw 1 card. And the second effect is like when I play her, I can also discard any card to top check and salvage a card from the wing room, which level is equal or lower to the card I review on top. And this is the next card, 2 copies. When I play her from hand, I can shuffle 2 characters from wing room to the deck, and then choose any card, give it 1 soul. And the second effect is when I play a climax, I can bounce her back to hand, give a card 1000. And the effect, when that card attack, I can look at top 2 of my deck, choose 1 card to leave it on top to trigger it, and put the rest of the wing room. So this card is one of the key cards of the deck because she increases the power of the level 1 and level 0 in the early games to help me win the boards, because like the power level of this deck at level 0 is really small. Next up we have 4 of the Ichigoriki. And yeah, so on play, pay 1, clock 1, search my deck for a level 1 lower Gotobun card. And the other effect is on play, I can top check, put the card on top of the wing room. So this card helps me search for the key level 0 pieces like this one or this one, and she's also a yellow fix for my early play. And next up we have 2 copies of the Fuka 0 Itsuki. So the first effect is very standard, it's just a level 0 reverse bomb. And the second effect is Fuka 0. So when sent to the wing room, discard 1, look up to 4 from your top deck, choose 1 level 1 card, add to your hand. So this card enables my deck to have more speed, and then I can discard standby targets for the turn after, and so I can standby them out later. Then we have 2 of this ETK card. So the first effect is pay 1, sack or sell, look at top 4 of my deck, choose up to 1 Gotobun card and add it to my hand. And the second effect is pay 1, rest 2 cards, and mill 5 for every climax. I can search my deck for 1 ETK card. So the good thing about this card is like she is very self-sufficient. By herself, she can technically mill up to 9 cards and then potentially search up some other cards from the deck. And so like this is how we get the deck space, since we don't really want to keep the back row space for the brainstormer. And I play 1 of this Itsuki, and so her first skill is I can tap her and then give a card 500, and on reverse clock swipe the card I reverse the top card of the opponent's clock. So basically this card enables like any 7-5 standby target into 8k, and then removes like other standby target or any target that I don't want to stay on the field. And her other effect is pay 2, restore 7, salvage 1 Gotobun card from the wing room to my hand. This effect rarely comes up, but like sometimes when I really need a card, like it also helps. Then 1 of the Nino Brainstormer is pay 1, salvage, tap salvage Brainstorm. And when my card reverses another characters, I can give another card at my 500. Like once in a while this effect comes up, but I don't really use this card too often. And the last card, the level 0 lineup, is the promo. It's just on play, pay 2, shuffle the wing room into the deck. So sometimes when the deck, when you're out too many climaxes early and you want to refresh your deck state, this is one of the best cards to use. And the idea system is the Sunshine decks. So you play this at level 0, so if you really want to access it at any time, as long as it's in the wing room, you can play this Nino to grab it. Since the card's level 0, like doesn't matter what I review on top, I can always grab it back to my hand. And next up is the level 1 lineups, only 6 cards. So the first card is the 1/1 standby target. When you have 2 or more other Gotobun cards, she gets 2000. And then she has the hand and card effect with character, so very standard and basic level 1 standby targets. And the next card is 2 of this. So this card, like, she gets 2000, and then she cannot be reversed by cost 0 cards. So if you play against a non-standby deck, and basically this card will never die in the early game. And then next up we have the level 2 lineup. So 1 of the anti-level counter. So this card is very special because she's an anti-level counter, and this effect is not really being used nowadays, but she's a Nino card, so she helps out my level 0 for this card target. And sometimes you can catch your opponent off guard with this card, and she only needs to pay 1 first and pay 2 for the cost. But the other requirement is like having 4 characters on the field, which is very easy for a standby deck. Next up is the main level 2 combo. If all my characters are Gotobun, she gets 2 effects. During my turn, she gets 5,000 in hand and core. The hand and core effect is like both turns, and the combo is if she's placed on the field using this climax standby effect during the climax phase, I can send this climax to the wing room and stand her, and then she gets 1,000 cross turn. So the cool thing about this card is like I don't have to wait a turn to use her if I use the combo. And so I can answer any card at any time during level 1 and technically level 2 using her. And then I can just anchor her to save her later. So even though she can only be 7,000 or 8,000 during the opponent's turn, she can always sleep for like longer than 2 turns. Then the next cards are 3-3 soul counters, just for like safetyness. Then the level 3 lineup is 4 of this level 3 combo Ninos. So the first effect is very strong. So when this climax is on the climax zone, this card from any slot on the field gets a standby icon. So basically, if I check her during the attack phase, and then this card's on the board, I can also standby any card. It's like a normal standby climax. And then she has, during my turn, they have 2 or more other Gotobun characters. She gets 4,000 on playing heal 1. And her other skill is like, at the end of her attack, if I have 2 or more other Gotobuns on the board, I can pay 1, discard 1 to burn 3. So basically, this card is basically very overloaded since she has 4 effects by herself, and all of them are really like usable. And that's what makes this deck really strong. Like, if I play this card early and check this, I can basically force out more standby than any other 8 standby deck can. And also, there's a trick where if your deck space is really small, you can play this card, shuffle 2 of this into the deck, give a card 1 soul, and then potentially force out more standby, even triple standby in 1 turn, while still having the same climax count in the waiting room. And then next up is one of this TD Miku. On play, she can from hand, she can search 1 Gotobun card from the deck to my hand. It's not really being used that often because people only stand by her out. And her other effect is on attacks, she can pay 2 and then discard 1 card, and then mill the bottom 4 of my opponent's deck. For climax, I can burn for extra amount, and then she gets 1,000 for every climax amount I mill. And then next up is the Ichigoriki early play. If I have 2 or less climaxes in the waiting rooms, I can early play her on play stop heal, and she gets 500 per other Gotobun characters on the field. So by herself, if I have a full board, she can be 11,000, which is okay. And then with the level support, she can be like 13,000. So basically, she's just a good option for the mid game. You just want to stabilize a little bit, though sometimes like the whole board at level 2 can just be the level 2 standby target. Next up, we have 2 of this Ichigoriki. So her first effect is all the level 3 in front of her gets 3,000 on play heal 1, and the last effect is up to 3 times per turn. When I place a card from the waiting room to the board, I can choose a card, give it 1 soul. So if I have this card on the board during level 2 and 3, I can power up the level 3s in front of her. And if I check a standby during the attack phase, I can give card 1 soul, which help me control the damage if I really need to do more damage, or I can give a card like 1 more soul to side for precise damage. Basically a really good card. And then next up is this Nino. If she's in the front row, all my cards gets 1,500, and when I play a standby card, standby climax, I can look at the top 2 of my deck and then rearrange them and choose a card, give it the effect. When that card attacks, I can look at up to 2 for my top deck, choose 1 to trigger, and send the rest to the waiting room. This card basically like give me another effect of this one, so I can mill through my deck more and choose exactly what I want to trigger for precise damage or force out more standby. And the last card is this card. She has the first effect is change. During the start of climax fight, I can send her from the field to my hand and play any Gotobun card from my hand to the field. So it would bypass level and color restrictions. So basically, like if I stand by this, I can play another card from hand without thinking about colors if I somehow misses the color. And the other effect is pay 2, restore, and burn 1. And so you can pay 2 risk or burn 1, then bounce it back to and call another card. So that would be more instances of damage during 1 turn. So the whole idea of the deck is like trying to filter out as many cards as you can during the first deck, get the good standby targets out, and then try to refresh your deck with good compression like any other deck. And then in the end game, like try to prepare 1 or 2 of this for the burn damage. And if your opponent is really compressed, you would like to use this card, then overall, like the deck is just like any other standby deck. You wall and then try to cancel and then take less as damage as you can. And that's the deck profile. Thank you.